Welcome into Real Biz. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today, youth educator and sync pro, Gallo Locknez. Gallo, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, this one's going to be a fun one because we're digging into something on this platform that I care a lot about. It's the music world. It's sync licensing. It's helping young artists do what it has struggle for a lot of musicians and people in the business to really get a hold of, which is how do you make money in the music business. But before we get into all that and really dive deep on everything you're doing right now, want to establish a little bit of your backstory and kind of give you the floor to give us some of that. So we'll pick it up from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Gallo Locknez. I'm a music producer. I'm an artist. I'm a songwriter. I'm a mixing engineer. I'm a mastering engineer. I'm a youth educator. I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah, man, I try to do a little bit of it all. That's why the website is called gallosworld.com. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on, but it all, connects. Yeah, I've been doing it for a while. I've been doing sync licensing maybe about 6 years now. I've got placements on ESPN, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, on a few shows, networks, Netflix, Peacock. I mean, anything you could think of, pretty much I've been on it. I'm on a lot of cooking shows for some reason, and I really don't like going in the kitchen, but I'm on tons of cooking shows. So I don't know, figure that one out. But yeah, this is what I do. I love it. And then as of recently, I'm a youth educator. Spent a lot of time with high school students, and all the way up to adults. You know what I mean? So the age range pretty much from 14 to as long as you can go. You know what I mean? So I love it. I have a passion for teaching people. I have a passion for being a mentor. And that's Gallo, all in a nutshell,
Yeah, and we featured you on the scene projects. We got to really dig into your music. You're a fantastic producer, but
Thank you.
I think for you, as for a lot of us in the music industry, songwriters like ourselves, that it's easy to get burnt out in that world. And you were very fortunate to find sync and to have some success in that world. And it's kind of put a huge pause on, what would be a typical artist career and performing live and, creating merch and like that whole life that so many of us live out there. But to kind of describe to me kind of the early successes in sync that you had and how that kind of took over in your artist career.
Yeah, ultimately, man, I'll tell you the point for me. I went on a European tour, right? And, it was a great experience. I loved it. But I didn't come home with a lot of money, right? At that same time, I got one of my biggest placements was paid about $12,000. You know what I mean? And I didn't need to go anywhere for that. You know what I mean? They were not related. And it was like, you know what? I feel like it's cool to perform, and I love that, right? That dopamine and, you know what I mean, getting the excitement of people rocking with you and all that stuff. But listen, man, that feeling of that bank account filling up with 5 figures, you know what I'm saying, off of one track that I created and that that people love, that was just a breaking point for me, where it was like, yo, you know what? This makes more sense to kind of put more energy into. And there's very little overhead, if there is any overhead at all. So yeah, that was kind of the thing. And so I kind of slowly broke away from the live performance stuff and putting out my own music, where I was just kind of focusing on sync music and writing raps for shows and movies and commercials and producing and then getting other people involved. You know what I mean? Collaborating and opening the minds of other people. Like, yeah, that's cool. You could be an artist and produce and sell your music on BeatStars, or you can go over to sync, you know what I mean? And make way more money. You know what I mean? So, once I realized how much money could be made, and not for nothing, I'm getting more Shazam. So people are following me on my streams. People are like hearing me on music. Hearing me on TV and like, yo, who's this guy? And now they're going over to my Spotify. They're going over to my Apple, and I'm still getting streams. I'm actually getting more streams as a sync artist than actual, recording artists and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, which is just a brilliant avenue to get there. One sync can be better than thousands of dollars spent on trying to drive people off of social media to your Spotify account.
Yeah. Yep.
not only is it, yes, you get paid, but the level of marketing that you're getting out of it
Yeah.
at the time is massive. I think
Yeah.
it's so cool that and moving into what you're doing now with the youth education, Tech 25, everything you're doing on site, online, all the stuff that you're doing is you're not keeping this to yourself. And you were never like, oh, Gallo's going to sit here in the studio, make all the money, and I'm not going to share any of that knowledge. You've really been an open book from the get-go, and that speaks to who you are. We've had a couple of conversations now, getting to know you, man. You're just a good dude, right? And I think that there's not enough of that in the music industry, or at least there wasn't. I feel like that culture is changing because that rising tide raises all ships, right? You never know when somebody that you helped out might get some big placement or have a situation that now they might need a little bit more guidance, or they might need a beat produced on there, and you actually, kind of cash a check on the backside of that. Not that that's the purpose for what you're doing, but you never know what all these relationships, what's going to come of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you spoke on being an open book and not being so much not being a gatekeeper, right? Very big on not being a gatekeeper. I actually work hard. Not only do I work hard to teach people, but if I feel people deserve deals, I will reach out to my connections and try to get them their own deals so that they can do their own work. They don't always have to go through me. You know what I mean? I want them, especially if they're at that level. So anybody I work with, listen, I tell you, hey, you have an opportunity to get your own deals. Let's get you up to a level where you can do this on your own, and then I will make the connection, and then I don't have to be in the picture anymore. Now, if we collab, that's cool, but ultimately now you're making your own money. You're doing your own thing, and you're building your own name and stuff. And yeah, I do that a lot. I think over the past week, I think I got like 3 people deals. You know what I mean? So. And I'm often trying to do that. And then myself, I got 2 new deals because there's tons of companies in sync. So I'm often signing contracts. I'm often looking at people's contracts for them, and often holding meetings for other people so that they can make a living off of sync themselves. So, yeah.
Well, and I think by the example that you're setting, these people that you're helping are inevitably going to help others as well, right? And like teaching, the teach a man to fish, right? Like, look, I can do something for you, but I could also teach you, and then you could teach others once you know. And the effect on the lives that you're having for the music world is just incredible, man. I think it's so awesome what you've been doing and building. Talk to me a little bit about Tech 25, and let's share something about them.
Yeah, Tech 25 is a organization, a nonprofit organization based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Their main focus is to teach youth and adults to a skill, whether it's lighting, live audio, DJing, music production, and other production avenues, to teach them the skills so that they can go out and get jobs, right? So they can make money from those skills. Tech 25 brought me on as a music producer, teacher, and also a sync educator. So it's been beautiful, man. I'm actually starting to learn to DJ myself, which is cool because I'm really excited about that. I'm learning live audio. We actually are going out to a Juneteenth gig tomorrow. Because today is Juneteenth, right? Yeah. So we're going out to a Juneteenth gig tomorrow. And that's another thing that Tech 25 does. If a community event is happening, they will make themselves available to provide the sound and provide, if they need a DJ, then we'll use one of our students to DJ the event. And the community doesn't have to pay for it. It's all free. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredibly impactful on the community. I think it's really cool what Tech 25 is. Appreciate you introducing us to the platform. Obviously, we're not in the same region and in the same location that we won't get a chance to work together often. But I definitely look forward to getting a chance to work together. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. We're working on doing things online. So we're looking to advance it into the online sector so that we could get more people involved. Of course, we love our community, Pittsburgh, right? We love our Pittsburgh community, but we also know that there's a lot of value in expanding as well. So, yeah.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge what you all are doing for the youth. So many people. I mean, I got the bug as a teenager, right? Where I was like, I want to be a rock star, right? I want to play music, and I want to do this, and I want to create. And that fire inside of you with age kind of fades, right? Like Gallo, if you did your European tour at 18, 19 years old, you'd probably never stop doing it. You put all your money into performing, but probably doing that as a little bit older, older gentleman, and coming in, coming home with no money is just like, look, this ain't working, man. Like I got a family, I got kids to feed, I got whatever, right? I want to build a life for myself. I can't do that by just going out and having experiences that aren't putting money back in my pocket. So it's really awesome that like you got to live a little bit of that life, and then had the opportunity in very short succession, right, to have the experience and the success in sync to go, okay, there's a pivot that needs to happen here. And now you've used that pivot to change the lives of so many other people, right? Like I haven't, the only time I've ever made money in my life in music has been performing live. I've had to show up, I've had to set up, I've had to tear down. When you equate the hourly, I'm probably making like 7 cents an hour, right? That I get to do. But one sync placement on a song that, I got to create with my friends and create that one sync placement, paying something on top of that would be mind-blowing to me, right? That would open up a whole new world for me as well. So as someone who is in music, that I'm looking and going, man, I want to work with Gallo, right? Like I'd love to see a 4-figure check, hell, a 3-figure check in my bank account for a song that I spent a lot of money creating, and having a little bit of ROI on that would be massive. And you're able to help now, hundreds and eventually thousands of people over the course of your life, man. I just find that incredibly inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Bro, I love it. And I appreciate that a lot, man. One thing that I am learning though, because I do make myself available, I'm human. So I'd say yes to so many people, and then, they end up waiting, and I feel bad for that. So that's one thing that I am trying to figure out as well, is just, work out the time management and working out a better schedule. But, I am a father. You're right. I'm a youth educator. I'm a creative, you know what I mean? And just trying to, make all of that work and all that come together without being overwhelmed is something that I'm just working on. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, well, and that's the challenge of this. And in much the same way that I am, when I started this podcast, it was very much of like, I'm just going to do interviews. And now it's expanded into, we have a dozen or more shows. I'm supporting the other hosts. I'm creating, I'm producing, but I also need to make sure that, I'm feeding my family as well. So it's finding that balance between, okay, yes, we can help and we can mentor along and we can do a lot of those things and we can do the things that, are making money, but where's that balance at? It's not that I want to sacrifice one for the other. It's just finding that balance and then being able to help as many people as possible in this world, and finding ways to do it one to many is something that gets talked about a lot in the, coaching platform world and what we're doing. So talk a little bit about like the online stuff that you're doing and being able to host some groups and to teach at a high level, but not necessarily having to do it on a one-to-one basis.
It's fun, man. It's fun. You get to meet a lot of different people, right? You get to meet people. I'm big on meeting people where they are, right? So that's why one-on-one is a lot simpler, because like I can adjust to like what where you are in the process. With a group, it's like, all right, I want everybody to take from this, but sometimes it's a little bit harder because not everybody's at the same level. You know what I'm saying? So that has been a little bit of challenging, but it's also been fun. And, it's also been dope because, a lot of people that come in. So Tech 25 markets it and I market it too, right? And obviously I market it to my people, but Tech 25 markets it to people that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'll get people that have never heard of me, and then I'll get to teach them, and I'm like, wait a minute, this guy knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll come up to me and we'll start we'll start a conversation, and before you know it, we have a relationship, right? And then they're hitting me up, and then I'm helping them with like, hey, looking at their contracts or checking out a company that they that they're curious about, that they might want to get with, their music, helping them with their music. So there's a lot that comes with the group, and it's cool. It's cool. It is a lot more challenging because I really do care. You know what I'm saying? So like, I want to make sure everybody that comes into that room leaves with something. And sometimes, I at the same time, I just have to accept that, I can't touch every person in that room the way I want to, but I will, it may take a little bit longer sometimes, or I might, inspire them in a way, and I might not be able to see that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning to accept that, because again, that's new, right? One-on-one, you can see it, right? When somebody hits that light bulb and it's like, oh, okay, cool, you can see that. But when you got a group of people, you can't see everybody getting that light bulb at that time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but it's fun. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And you're going to get better at this, right? Like you've learned all the other things in your life to do. You're going to figure this out just like you figured all the rest of it out as well. You're going to continue to get better at it. I know this is a relatively new adventure for you. What, 2.5 months or so? Kind of stepping into that educator space. So a year from now, we're going to come back. We're going to have another conversation. We're going to talk about all the things you learned in that, and you're going to continue to keep sharing with our community and putting it out there. Gallo, just to kind of establish a little bit of the success that you have had, what was your biggest placement dollar-wise?
Dollar-wise, man, so I've had a lot of I've had a lot of 5-figure placements. I've got a few $12,000 ones. I want to say 17. I think it was 17. No. I got a $25,000 one. I got a $25,000 placement, and that was for a movie. That was a movie out in Germany. I can't remember the name of the dang movie, but it was in German, and it was cool. I worked with so the way I got that was I got in contact with the music supervisor. The music supervisor happened to be working on this movie, and I did the music for it. And she was like, hey, they love it, but the director has some more requests. So the director came, I started talking to the director, and he was like, hey, I need you to do this and this and this. I'll pay you X, 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 X. You know what I mean? And it all equivalated to $25,000 in total. So yeah, it was dope. It was 6,000. It was 4 tracks, and it was 6,000. No, it was 3 tracks. Wait, 6, 12, 18. Yeah, it was 3 tracks, and that was for 18,000. And then it was another all the adjustments. He was like, hey, I'll pay you another $6,000, and that 7,000, and that came up to 25,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that I feel like a lot of really talented producers and artists that are able to make them. And no doubt that, I know you're an artist. We've heard you, doing your thing there, but it is really the benefit in being able to produce your own music so that you can make adjustments.
Yeah. I mean, it's more work. So, I mean? It's bittersweet, right? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get paid, but I gotta work more. You know what I mean? But man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Also, another really dope thing is working with a producer that knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? So like, I am one of those producers, but I also work with other producers that know what they're doing. You know what I mean? And, that just amazed me sometimes. You know what I mean? I work with this one producer by the name of Jason Payne, and we've gotten tons of placements together. But I'll top line his music, and top lining means, you're adding vocals on top of the music. So I'll top line the music, whatever. I have my vocals or whatever. And then I'll send him I'll send him a lead track. I'll send him a background track. I'll send him the ad-lib track, but with different energy. And he'll cut and paste certain parts of my vocals and add it at different parts of the track. And it's just like, not every producer takes the time to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's wonderful. And the end result is just amazing. And that's why we get so many placements, because, we take a little bit more time. You produce it like you care, like you want to win. And that's what it's about. So, being that type of producer, it's cool that I make beats and I can do that. But I learned that over time. Like, sometimes we got to put 4 or 5 hours into just the beat. You know what I'm saying? Or the post-production, you know what I'm saying? So to make it work. Yeah.
Well, and especially when you're talking about some of these placements for the NBA or all these other times. I mean, you're talking about massive viewership. You can't be putting out garbage product, but the product is only part of it. And I feel like so much of your success has come from the relationships that you've built Can you kind of talk about that side for an artist that's looking to get in? Like, where do you build relationships? Who are you building relationships with that's actually going to help you?
Yeah, man. So ultimately, first and foremost, from the ground level, I'll start from the bottom. From the ground level, you want to build a relationship with a very talented producer, right? Somebody that you can trust. Sometimes they may charge, especially in the beginning, if they don't really know you. Yo, yeah, I might charge this much for beats, and we can work together. But when you show up and and you're effective, you're not only is it quantity, but it's quality, and you're efficient with time, and you're dependable. That's what matters the most. So they might send you, like yesterday, I had a producer send me 6 beats and was like, yo, I need this done in like a week and a half. A lot of people are going to be like, yo, what? But for me, that's first of all, that's the reputation I've created, right? So I can do that. I can knock that out in a week and a half. You know what I'm saying? So that's first and foremost, the producer. The second thing is, maybe a library owner or a library curator or sync A&R. You want to build a relationship with these people. Find out who they are. If you like a library and you see a library is active, find that person. Find out who the sync A&R is or the creative director is. Find them on LinkedIn. Find them on IG. You know what I mean? Build with that person. See what type of music they're working with, and if you make that type of music, build with that person. Ask them, maybe go to the library, see what type of music they don't have in the library that you're good at, or reach out to them. Hey, I noticed you guys are getting a lot of stuff. I just see you guys work on this much. How can I help you? I also do this type of music. Or what have you noticed that people are looking for? I can create that type of music and help, the library make better relationships with other companies, right? So again, being dependable, being assertive, right? Just being on top of it. And then the next thing, of course, is music supervisors, right? Music supervisors are the people that select the music. So if you are somebody that can actually reach a music supervisor, get the opportunity to get their attention, you want to keep their attention. So you want to send them everything that they want. Yeah, they want the music, but they want to make sure the paperwork is good, the split sheets, the everything's registered, the metadata, all of that is important. And on top of all of that, you have to be nice, you have to be kind, you have to be respectful. Excuse me. You have to be respectful to them. So when you have all of those qualities and you're dependable and they know that they can rely on you, they'll continuously come to you and hit you up. I can't tell you how many every day I get an email from a library owner or a supervisor. Hey, we're working on this. We're working on this show. Do you have anything for this? Hey, can you knock this out? Hey, we got searches for this. We need a top liner for this. Can you do that? You know what I mean? So it's all about building a reputation and being nice and being kind and dependable.
Yeah, absolutely love it, Gallo. It's always such an incredible time getting to spend a few minutes with you. Everybody can check out gallosworld.com, GALLOWORLD.com. Just incredible, man. You're such a wealth of knowledge in this space, and I appreciate you spending some time with me. Hope I get the chance to work with you in the future.
Yeah, we will. We will.
A few minutes. I might play you one of my tracks when we get off live here,
okay,
and see what you think about what we got going on. Now, we come from obviously different worlds musically, but you never know when an opportunity might come along for anyone in any genre, right? And I think I want to really drive that home with everybody who's listening and will hear this and see this, that it is it doesn't matter what genre you're in, the knowledge that Gallo is giving you is going to help you in your career, and the relationships are ubiquitous, right? These people are working with all different kinds of projects. So Gallo, appreciate you, brother. Great to catch up with you again. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and thank you for being part of the scene.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.